أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هل أتى على الإنسان من الدهر هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا إنا أعتدنا للكافرين سلاسلا وأغلالا وسعيرا إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا وجزاهم بما صبروا جنات وحريرا صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها وسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به علمك. مؤمنين، سلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First and foremost, we send our condolences to Imam Hujjat ibn al-Hasan al-Askari, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli alayhi. And thereafter to one another on the sad, tragic demise of Janaba Sayyidah Fatimah al-Zahra, salamullahi alayha. Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Today, Monday, the 2nd of December 2024, eve of 28th Jamadul Awwal 1446 AH. Kindly keep your mobile phones on silent during the program and always keep your belongings with you at all times. We have received some sad news. Marhum Sikandar Pyarali Nuru Mohamed passed away today in Toronto, and the burial details are to follow. Please recite Surah Fatiha for him and all marhumin. Tomorrow, on Tuesday, the 3rd of December, the program will start at 8 p.m. with Quran and a lecture by Shaykh Nuru Mohamed. The Niyaz Fund for Ayyame Fatimiyya is now open. Please donate generously at the Treasurer's desk, both in the ladies and in the gents. And those who are interested in reciting du'as, ziyarat or Quran in the main hall, please email recite@hujjat.org. That is recite@hujjat.org. And Mu'mineen, lastly, please let's remember all those who are unwell with the recitation of 5 times Amma Yajibu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mudhtarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 اللهم صل على محمد وعلى We will now have Marshia by Brother Ali Hassan and Mahmoud Saint Jagani. Please welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
بیٹی کا پیمبر کو پرسایوں دیا جائے اطراف مدینہ تک آواز بکا جائے جس بیوی کے قدموں میں حسنین کی جنت ہو اس بیوی کا دروازہ شعلوں میں جلایا ہے صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد
اللہم صلی علی میرے بچوں سے میرے
زخم چھپانا مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا مولا
رات دل جائے تو میت کو
اٹھانا مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا مولا
آپ میرے لیے زحمت یہ گوارا کرنا
سوچتی ہوں کہ ہو میت نہ کہیں بے پردہ ہو سکے تو کوئی تابوت بنانا مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا مولا
سانس لینے میں بھی دشواری ہے چل سکتی نہیں
پسلیاں ٹوٹی ہے کروٹ بھی بدل سکتی نہیں یوں بنی ہوں میں سزاؤں کا نشانہ مولا فاطمہ آپ کی تعظیم کو اٹھتی لیکن ضعف اور زخموں کے باعث یہ نہیں اب ممکن کوئی خدمت میں کمی ہو تو بلانا مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے
زخم چھپانا مولا
مجھ پہ احسان یہ کر دی جیے اے میرے علی
یاد شبیر کو آ جائے نہ اس کی بیٹی
میرے چہرے کے نشانوں کو چھپانا مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا مولا
عشق کتنے ہیں جو آنکھوں میں نہ لائے میں نے
آپ سے بھی ہے بہت درد چھپائے میں نے میرے پہلو سے نہیں ہاتھ ہٹانا مولا چیننے والوں نے کب صرف فدق چینا ہے
مجھ سے رونے کا کبھی جینے کا حق چینا ہے
خیال تھا ان کے لیے مجھ کو رلانا مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا
مولا
میری زینب ابھی کم سن ہے ذرا دھیان رہے
پیاس شبیر کو لگتی ہے بہت رات گئے
میرے شبیر کو پاس اپنے سلانا مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا
مولا
بین یہ کرتے ہی چپ ہو گئی زہرا محسن بے خطا مار دیا ہے میرا بیٹا محسن کب بچا ہے کوئی جینے کا بہانہ مولا میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا مولا
رات دل چاہے تو میت کو اٹھانا مولا
میرے بچوں سے میرے زخم چھپانا مولا رحم اللہ من یقرأ سورة المبارکۃ الفاتحہ
Please welcome for the main lecture Shaykh Nuru with 3 loud salawats ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى أهل بيته الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. صل على محمد. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واتل عليهم نبأ بني آدم بالحق إذ قربا قربانا فتقبل من أحدهما ولم يتقبل من الآخر قال لأقتلنك قال إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. For the love of Sayyidah Fatima, with the loudest of our voices, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. صل على محمد. For the purification of our hearts and hastening of the reappearance of our beloved, the 12th Imam, with the loudest of our voices, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. First of all, mu'mineen and mu'minat, lovers and the followers of Ahlul Bayt, we thank Almighty Allah for giving us this wonderful moment to commemorate the painful departure of the Lady of Light, the daughter of our beloved Prophet, our dear role model, Sayyidah Fatima, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayha. Salli ala Muhammad. Inshallah, in these few nights and one day, we will be looking at Sayyidah Fatima alayha salam as a symbol of perfect human being. And the aim, my dear brothers and sisters, is for all of us, one way or the other, to try as much as we can to learn a lesson or two from the life of this great personality, with the sole aim of improving ourselves, not only to become better human beings, but to become true servants of Almighty Allah. And so each night under this theme, we'll look at a particular topic, and we'll try to relate each and every topic with the life of Sayyidah Fatima. And then inshallah we'll provide some practical tips on how to implement some of the lessons that I'll be sharing with my dear brothers and sisters. It is no doubt a great blessing for each and every one of us to be given this wonderful opportunity to commemorate the life of Sayyidah Fatima. Because without Sayyidah Fatima, there will be no Ahlul Bayt. Sayyidah Fatima is the scholar and the teacher of all our beloved Imams when it comes to the secret of the Holy Quran. And so the topic of tonight is looking at the essence of sacrifice. And the verse I've just quoted is Quran 5, verse 27, Surah Al-Ma'idah. Our examination of tonight will be of the following brief stages departing from this beautiful verse. The first stage will look at the stages of divine proximity. The second stage of the examination will then discuss the permissibility of seeking divine proximity through sacrifices like slaughtering. And then the last stage of our examination will then focus more on the importance of sacrifice for the sake of Almighty Allah, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. As you know very well, brothers and sisters, sacrifice is called Qurban or Al-Qurban. And we learn this lesson of Qurban from Sayyidah Fatima alayha salam. From her perseverance, for example, her patience, and we learn it also from the way she nurtured her children. Hence, you realize, Sayyidah Zainab alayha salam, when she walked towards the body of Imam al-Hussein, she placed her two hands under the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. What did she say? She said, Allahumma Rabbana takabbal minna hadhal qurban. The point here is the word qurban. Oh Allah, accept from us this humble sacrifice. Now you see, qurban is from the word qurb. And qurb simply means closeness or proximity. Now there are two types of proximity. We have physical proximity and we have spiritual proximity. What is physical proximity? It's like someone sitting next to you. You see the person sees you. And if the person is blind, but at the end of the day, the person is sitting next to you, that's what we call physical proximity. Physical closeness. And then we have spiritual proximity. What is spiritual proximity? Is to have someone's love at heart. When you love someone, it means spiritually you are close to that person. Now there are these two major types of proximity in addition to what I've just mentioned. Humans' proximity to Allah and Allah's proximity to human beings. These are two things. What is human proximity to Allah? It simply means ibadah, worship. When I worship, when you worship, what are you highlighting? You are highlighting a stage of your proximity or closeness to Allah. My discussion is not about humans' proximity to Allah. My first stage of the examination is Allah's proximity to us, which is of great importance. And kindly pay attention to this, my dear brothers and sisters. Learn something. Maybe one thing you learn, and go out there, reflect on it, discuss with your family, discuss with your friends, seek to implement whatever you are able to take out of these discussions. Because by so doing, then you attending this majlis becomes effective. Allah's proximity to us is of three types. The first type or the first stage is his proximity to us by virtue of creation. We are all created by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, regardless of our religious subscriptions, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. The fact that we are all created by Allah simply means Allah is close to us by virtue of that creation. What does it mean to say Allah is close to us by virtue of creation? It simply means ownership. Meaning, we are owned by Allah. But there are three types of ownership to appreciate his proximity to us by virtue of his creation. The first type of ownership, scholars in philosophy, they call it milqiyatun i'tibariyah. Recognized ownership. What is recognized ownership? It's your ownership of something by virtue of certain principles and law. For example, we live in this country. When you are able to buy a property and you pay it from yourself, by virtue of the principles and law, you are the owner of the place. Islam regards whatever you own as recognized ownership. What is recognized ownership? It's temporary ownership. Why is it called temporary ownership? Because you may lose it or you may die and someone will inherit it. So whatever I and you have in this world, you are not an absolute owner. I am not an absolute owner. You are just a caretaker of whatever you have. Hence, deal with your arrogance. Be down to earth. Because you are not the absolute owner. The owner is there. Jalla Jalaluhu. So that's the first ownership. Second type of ownership, when it comes to his closeness to us by virtue of creation. They call it milqiyatun haqiqiyya. True ownership. What is true ownership? It is your ownership of your thoughts. Your ownership of your thoughts is not a recognized ownership. It's a true ownership. Why? Even if you share it or no, when you die, you'll be buried with your thought. But whatever you have, you're not going to be buried with them. Hence, you are a recognized owner. But your thoughts, no. You are a true owner. And so, when you die, you'll be buried with it. The third type of ownership, which is my focus more, is true real ownership. That is Allah's ownership of everything, including I and you. We have only one true real owner, and that is Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. He literally owns everything, including our thoughts. And hence, when you go to the Holy Quran, you'll come across so many verses. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala is highlighting on this true real ownership. One ayah, you look at Surah Ali Imran, verse 26, you all know the ayah. قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ. Look at the end. بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. True real ownership. He is the power. He gives to whomsoever he pleases, and he takes away from whomsoever he pleases. And every good is with Allah. And he is powerful over everything. So the first ownership, mu'minin and mu'minat, is what? It's ownership by virtue of creation. Muslims, non-Muslims, Shias, non-Shias, all of us, Allah is close to us because he created us. That's number one. Second, proximity. Scholars call preferential proximity. What is preferential proximity? This type of proximity, I and you need to do something for Allah to become close to us. First one, you do nothing. He created you, so he's close to you. Second one, no. You have to do certain things for Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to get closer to you. In fact, some scholars, when they discuss this preferential proximity, they call it Qurbur Rahmah. Meaning what? Allah becomes close to a person by virtue of Allah's mercy being showered upon that person. Now look at Quran. Kindly pay attention to this verse. Quran Al-A'raf, verse 56. Allah highlights in this verse, what is it that I and you need to do for his mercy and rahmah to be close to us? What does Allah say towards the end? Inna rahmatallahi qareebun minal muhsinin. Indeed, Allah's mercy is close to those who are good, to those who are kind. When I become kind for the sake of Allah, not for me to be praised, not for me to be elevated by people. I do it solely for Allah. You know what will happen? Allah will send His rahmah next to you. Kindness is very important. And we learn this, all of us, from Sayyidah Salamullah Alaiha. Sayyidah, because of her kindness, she wouldn't pray at night until and unless she prayed for her neighbors. That's kindness. She would pray for her neighbors before she would remember any member of her house. Al-Jaru thumma dar. When Imam Hassan alayhi salam inquired from her, Mom, why is it that whenever you pray for others before the family? And she will say, of course, neighbor first before home. This kindness. When I become kind, Allah's mercy gets closer and closer to me. But that's not the only one. There is another thing I and you can do for Allah's mercy to be very close to us. Dua. Look at Quran 2, verse 186. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. This Karib is not Karib by virtue of creation. It's Karib by virtue of your dua and actions. The more dua you do, the more Allah sends His mercy to you. The more you become overwhelmed by the mercy of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. And Sayyidah Fatima, she had so many du'as. One of the fascinating du'as of Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, she will say, Ya Allah, وَلَا تَجْعَلِ الدُّنْيَا أَكْبَرَ هَمِّنَا. Said, oh Allah, do not make this dunya our greatest concern. How many of us this dunya is our greatest concern? And she will say, أَصْلِحْ لِي دِينِي فَإِنَّهُ عِصْمَةُ أَمْرِي. Ya Allah, reform and correct my faith, because that is the protection of all my affairs. Sayyidah would make this dua, and that is why the rahmah of Allah is close to Sayyidah Fatima. I always tell mu'minin and mu'minat, we as lovers and the followers of Ahlul Bayt, we are so lucky. But some of us are not taking advantage of these blessings. You know why? You have dua ukumail every week. Some cannot remember when last they recited dua ukumail. I'm not saying come into the mosque and recite. But it's a weekly dua we are expected to recite to bring Allah's mercy close to us. So that when I am encountering a challenge, those mercy of Allah will help me navigate through. On Tuesdays, we have dua tawassul, for example. When last did you do dua tawassul? These are all powerful duas from Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Imam Zain al-Abidin left for I and you 15 munajat. Are you a true lover of Allah? There is munajat for you. Are you someone who wants to complain to Allah of how his or her soul deceiving him? There is munajat for you. Are you someone who crave to be a true lover of Ahlul Bayt? There is dua for you. So therefore, the second proximity is what? Proximity by preference. The third one is the greatest one. Scholars call it physical proximity. Kurbumati. I and you know very well, Allah is not physical. Allah doesn't occupy a space. It's not a matter. Allah is not limited by time and space. So what do you mean by saying physical proximity? Meaning what? Allah physically is close to his servants. And there are so many verses of the Holy Quran. For example, if you look at Surah Al-Fatih, verse 10, Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُبَايِعُونَكَ إِنَّمَا يُبَايِعُونَ اللَّهِ. Allah says to our beloved Prophet, indeed, those who pay allegiance to you, they are not paying allegiance to you, they are paying allegiance to Allah. Is it physical allegiance or something else? Look at it. Another ayah very well. If you look at Surah An-Nisa, verse 64, said, Alam ya'lamu anna Allah huwa yakbalu tawbata an ibadihi wa ya'khudhu sadaqat. Don't they know that Allah is the one and only who accepts their tawbah and receives their sadaqah? How does he receive my sadaqah? Does he receive with his hands? Or what does the verse says? The other ayah, which you all know very well, the ayah, Surah Al-Anfal, verse 17. Allah says, وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. Battle of Badr. You did not throw when you threw, Ya Rasulullah, but Allah threw it. So question. What are these verses talking about? And what are you talking about when you say physical proximity? That Allah is closer to us physically. You know what it means? It simply means the more one purifies his or her soul, the more Allah sends angels to serve you. Physical proximity. Allah is not the one receiving the bay'ah. He sent his angels to receive the bay'ah. When the Holy Prophet threw, it wasn't Allah. Angels collected and threw it. Likewise, Allah sends his angels to serve the purpose of his servant. When you take your spirituality to the next level. You know, brothers and sisters, today, our biggest challenge is lack of spirituality. It's the biggest challenge. Why am I saying so? It's not that we're not praying, everyone is praying. We all go to the mosque. But most are struggling to take their spirituality to the next level. And any one of us who strives in his or her own way to take his connection and relationship with Allah to the next level, Allah sends angels to serve your cause. Let's look at examples from the life of Sayyidah Fatima for us to be inspired to become perfect human beings and perfect servants of Almighty Allah. Sayyidah Fatima, her one and only ambition in life was to serve God. Her one and only ambition in life was to find God. God, mu'minin and mu'minat, was central to the life of Sayyidah Fatima. Yardstick for Sayyidah Fatima to measure anything and anyone in her life is God. It begins with her marriage. So many proposals came to Sayyidah. But when the proposal of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen came to Sayyidah, the Holy Prophet called her. My beloved daughter Fatima, come. Sayyidah Fatima came to the Holy Prophet. And the father asked her, Ali is proposing you. What's your take? What did she say? Aradiyallah. Allahu Akbar. Is Allah pleased with it? Allah is central to our life. So long as Allah is happy and Allah is pleased with it, I am happy, Ya Rasulullah. And then no line to all of us before we move forward. Even after the marriage of Sayyidah Fatima, when Amir al-Mu'mineen met his wife, the Holy Prophet would ask Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, can you tell me about your wife? The first sentence that came out of the mouth of Barakah of Imam Amir is what? Ni'mal auni ala ta'a. Blessings of Allah be on an assistant who made me to be more obedient to Allah. Yani Fatima, on one night, she made Amir al-Mu'mineen more obedient to Allah. Allah central to the life of Fatima. Look at that example. Fatima, as you know very well, brothers and sisters, she lived a very simple life. Her simplicity is unbelievable. But that simplicity was informed by her connection with Allah. I tell you, brothers and sisters, we have nothing but Allah. Anyone will disappoint you, the one and only who will never and ever let you down. Come rain, come shine, is Allah. The more you hold on to Allah, the better for I and you. The more you distance yourself from Allah, the more frustrated one can become. Sayyidah Fatima, in her own house, mu'mineen and mu'minat, grinding, breastfeeding, cleaning. Here comes the father, Rasulullah. When the Holy Prophet entered, he saw how Fatima was trying her level best. She was struggling. What did he say? Ta'ajjali mararata dunya bihalawatil akhirah. Oh, my beloved daughter, this pain of this world that you are experiencing will be replaced by the pleasure and taste of Allah. But look at Fatima. Look at Fatima. Upon hearing that from her beloved father, what was her response? What will be your response? She said, Alhamdulillahi ala na'ma'ihi wa shukru ala ala'ihi. She said, I thank Allah for his blessings. Allahu Akbar. These are blessings. I do not complain. I am happy. I am contented. These are blessings. These are not pains of this world. That's a relationship with Allah. Sayyidah Fatima mu'mineen and mu'minat should wake up in the darkness of the night. Narration tells us she would pray until the feet were swollen. Try, brothers. I'm mentioning this not just for the sake of mentioning. I'm mentioning this to inspire myself and to inspire all of us to understand one thing, that wallah, if you truly want to become a perfect servant of Allah, there are so many lessons we can take from the life of Fatima Zahra. Kindly, mu'minin, you are requested to come forward. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Another salawat, inshallah. Salli ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Should wake up in the darkness of the night, and the feet were swelling, and she would worship Allah. Typical example. Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullah alayh, went to bury his beloved wife. And upon her was here, stay, sit next to my grave and recite verses of the Holy Quran. So Amir did it. But while he was reciting the Quran, he fell asleep. Imam Amir saw Sayyidah Fatima in his dream, and she said to him, go back home and look after the orphans. But this is the point, Samro. This is the point. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, he got back home. He just went straight to the prayer room of Sayyidah Fatima. Who did he see? He saw Zainab on the prayer mat. He said, Zainab, why are you not sleeping at this time? She said, but my mom every night used to be here praying. Allahu Akbar. Ibadah. When you worship and you purify your soul, Allah sends the angels to serve you. He doesn't leave you. Salman al-Farisi visited the house of Sayyidah Fatima, and he saw the house wasn't that of greater standard. Salman was so upset. He rushed to the Holy Prophet and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I've seen something today and I'm not happy about it. Prophet asked me, Ya Salman, what did you see? He said, I visited the house of Fatima and Ali, but the house really made me sad. Guess what the Holy Prophet said? He said, Ibnati Fatima, my daughter Fatima, Mala Allahu qalbaha wa jawarihaha imanan wa yaqina. He said, my beloved daughter Fatima, Allah filled her heart and all her body with faith and certainty. Fatima is certain. No complaint. Fatima is happy. I and you, when we recite the ziyarat of Fatima, what do we say? Ya mumtahana, imtahana killa. Oh, the examined. You were examined by Allah. And when He examined you, He found you patient. Allahu Akbar. That's the iman of Fatima. Jibreel came to our beloved Prophet in our traditions. Ya Rasulullah, ask your daughter Fatima, whatever she wants, it will be granted. The Holy Prophet spoke to Sayyidah Fatima. Guess what was her response? She said, Hajati la hajata li gayra nadhari ila wajhihi al-karim. I have only one request from Allah. And my request from Allah is to see His generous face. Obviously, we cannot see Allah physically. Is to be overwhelmed by the mercy of Allah. Fatima mu'minin and mu'minat, on account of her self-purification, Allah sent angels to serve Fatima. One day the Holy Prophet came to the house of Sayyidah Fatima. Imam Ali heard the door knocking. He realized it was the Holy Prophet. He went to speak to Sayyidah. Sayyidah said, but we have nothing in the house. We literally have nothing to eat. What do we do? Sayyidah Fatima went to the kitchen and she raised up her hands. She said, Ya Allah, your Prophet Rahmatan lil Alameen is here. Can you send down food from heaven for us to give to your Prophet? Allahu Akbar. Food came down. They ate the food. That was the moment when the Holy Prophet thanked Allah and said, I thank you for repeating the example of Isa in my family. Allah, when you have God, God will have your back. Another example. She lost her beloved father. Fatima mourned the loss of the beloved Prophet. But how did Allah console Sayyidah Fatima? He sent an angel to her. This angel, whenever he would come to Fatima, Salamullah alayha, he would inspire her, he would give her something from God. What is that? Ta'wil of Quran. That's why scholars said the heart of the Prophet is mawtinu tanzil al-Quran. But the heart of Fatima is mawtinu ta'wil al-Quran. Heart of the Prophet is a container for the revelation of the Holy Quran. But heart of Fatima is container for the revelation of the secret of the Holy Quran. Allah sent the angels. Take the secret of the Holy Quran to Fatima. And when Amir al-Mu'mineen would come back home, Fatima would dictate that to Amir al-Mu'mineen. That is why Fatima is said to be the teacher of Ahl al-Bayt when it comes to the secret of the Holy Quran. That secret was, Mus'haf Fatima. So therefore, brothers and sisters, let us try to overcome laziness. Let us work extra mile when it comes to building solid relationship with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. A true lover of Ahlul Bayt, Salamullah alayhim ajma'in, will never fold his or her arms, will never settle until he or she builds stronger relationship with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. This is first stage, proximities. Second stage, permissibility of seeking divine proximity through sacrifices such as slaughtering, you know very well. In other words, there are certain acts of worship. When I undertake them sincerely, it will also grant me proximity to Allah. One of them is to slaughter. And Quran discusses this beautifully. One is the story of the two sons of Adam. The verse I quoted earlier on. Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 27. Kindly pay attention to this verse. There is a lesson for all of us here when it comes to seeking proximity through sacrifice. Allah makes it crystal clear. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأْ بَنَيْ آدَمَ بِالْحَقِّ. Recite to them the stories of the two sons of Adam in truth. إِذَا كَرَّبَا قُرْبَانًا. Look at it. The two of them offered sacrifices. Qurban, from the word qurb. proximity. فَتُقُبِّلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمَا وَلَمْ يُتَقَبَّلْ مِنْ الْآخَرِ. The sacrifice of one of them was accepted, and that of the other was not accepted. But Allah says, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. I accept only from the pious ones. Now question. Which sacrifice is accepted by Allah so that it can grant me that proximity or that mercy of Allah, or Allah send angels to me to serve my cause, to protect me more? There is one condition. The condition scholar said, husnu fi'li and husnu fa'ili. And this is applicable to all actions, but I'm just focusing on sacrifice. For one sacrifice to be accepted, the doer of the action must be good, and the action must be good. For example, you come to serve the center, volunteer, solid work. You must be good because the action is good. What does it mean to be good? Sincere. Sincerity. Salat, good. For Allah to accept your salah, you also must be good. What does it mean to be good? For my salah to be accepted, because salat is already good, I must be sincere. I don't need money to be sincere. I don't need fame to be sincere. I don't need people to be sincere. I only need my heart to connect with Him. One of the sons, Kabil, he wasn't sincere. Sacrifice is good, but he wasn't good. So any sacrifice you do, your niyyah is not to announce to the world. Your niyyah is to please Allah. Second example is Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. You know it very well. Surah Al-Safat, verses 102 to 107. You read them when you have time, inshallah. You know the story. Ibrahim saw slaughtering his son, and he went ahead to do so because Ibrahim had a choice between sacrificing his son or sacrificing the pleasure of Allah. Read Allah. He decided to sacrifice his son for the pleasure of Allah to prevail. And hence, Allah elevated Ibrahim to the position of Imama. But now you know very well, there are two opinions as to what constituted the sacrifice of Ibrahim and Ismail, or what rescued Ismail. Some narration says Allah sent ship from heaven, and that ship rescued Ismail. But we have another tradition which we subscribe more to it. No, the sacrifice of the son of Fatima rescued Ismail. Fatima sacrifice. What's your sacrifice for Fatima? I want you to think about this. You see, our brothers and sisters, we give purusa. What's your purusa for Fatima? She sacrificed for the sake of Allah. That is why she is Siddiqatul Tahira. She gave Hussein for Ismail to be rescued for the sake of Allah. When you give your time, wallahi, give it for Allah, because you can't please people. The people who lift you today, they will throw you tomorrow. But when you please Allah, those who throw you, eventually they will run towards you. Get that in mind, my dear brother and sister, and you'll be free from the shackles of self-imposed imprisonment. Be there for Allah. Allah takes His time. But when it happens, it breaks mountains. I give you this example. On the day of Ashura, this breaks my heart, wallahi. Sayyidah Zainab, Salamullah alayha, sent Muhammad and Aun. Go seek permission and fight. Go. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam looked at them. He said, no. Go stay behind, look after your mom. Ibana. Sayyidah Zainab said, go back. Imam said, no. When I lost my grandfather, she was there for me. I lost my mom, she was there for me. I lost my father, she was there for me. I lost my brother, she was there for me. Now, if I let you go, who's going to be there for Zainab, salamullah alayha? But the third time Zainab came out, Allah, that tells you the iman, the taqwa of these people, man. And we are grateful to Allah for making it easy for us to discover Ahl al-Bayt. Zainab mentioned two things, but the second one has to do with my topic. She looked at Abu Abdullah. She said, oh, my brother, do you remember the day of Siffin? He said, yes, of course. Do you remember that our father was proud of Abbas? He said, yes. But Abbas was of the same age of Muhammad and all. But look at the second one, sacrifice. What is the second one? Sayyidah looked at Imam al-Hussein. She said, oh, my brother, don't you want my mom to be proud of me on the day of Qiyamah? She'll be proud of Rubab because she's giving Asgar away. She'll be proud of Layla. She's giving Akbar away. She'll be proud of Ramla. She's giving Qasim away. But if you don't allow Muhammad and Aun to go, I will have nothing to show to my mom. Allahu Akbar. Sacrifice, mu'minin and mu'minah. Sacrifice is of great importance within the religion of Islam. That's why we have Aqiqah, we have Eid al-Adha. These are all times to sacrifice for the sake of Allah, to grant you proximity to Allah. And once you gain that proximity, you will feel the presence of Allah. When anything comes your way, trying to make things difficult for you, these blessings of Allah will help you push it back and navigate through. With Allah, everything is possible. Now, last point. Take your heart to Medina. Last point. Sacrifice for the sake of Allah is crucial, Habibi. We live in a very challenging world. Sometimes to navigate is cumbersome. Allah, when you sacrifice your time, you sacrifice your knowledge, you sacrifice your strength, you will make it in the sight of Allah. Your sacrifice is so unique compared to sadaqah or charity in general. Charity, anything can be charity. Speaking kind word is charity. You walking in Harrow or wherever and you see waste, you clear it, is charity. But you know what is sacrifice? Qurban is to go out of your way to do something. Say, for example, you work here in the Jamaat, for example, and you are to close 5 o'clock. But you decide to say, you know what? I am going to stick around and serve people up until 10. So from 5 to 10, that's sacrifice. What is sacrifice? To part ways with what is so dear to you. Could be money. Could be time. When you are able to do that, Habibi, then alhamdulillah. That's why Quran says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ, Ali Imran 92, حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Forget about righteousness. If you cannot let off go what you hold so dear. You know, some of us, we hold money so dear. Can you sacrifice it sometimes? Some of us, time, everything. Can you sacrifice your 1 hour every week to serve humanity, to serve the cause of Ahlul Bayt? Today I tell people, to give money is easy, but to give time is the most difficult thing. You've got the knowledge. Do you have time to sacrifice that knowledge for the benefit of others? Fatima sacrificed her life. for I and you. And because of her sincerity in sacrificing her life and that of her children, today I and you are proud sitting here and chanting the name of Fatima. Fatima rescued us from diversion, from her sacrifice. Think of what you're going to do in return for the sake of Fatima. Fatima expects all of us. You know, a gentleman asked a question. He asked a question. Allahu Akbar. This question breaks the heart, wallahi. He said, why Imam Hussein alayhi salam did not take al-Banin to Karbala? A scholar heard him. And the scholar answered. He said, maybe. Hussein saw a mother injured in Medina. And he didn't want to see another mother injured in Karbala. Hussein saw the broken rib of a mother. Hussein didn't want to see another broken rib in Karbala. Hussein saw Amirul Mu'mineen couldn't handle when the hands crossed the broken ribs of Fatima. Hussein didn't want to see that again because he knew very well after that Khuli will be running away with his head. Allahu Akbar. And some scholars will mention, like on the day of Qiyamah, Sayyidah Fatima will come and she will be holding her ribs. And she'll be saying, what crime have I committed that they forced the door on me? What crime have I committed that they attacked the house where Jibreel used to come? What crime have I committed that they attacked the house where Mikael used to wash the hands of my father and Asarafil used to dry the hands of my father? You know, I tell you, brothers and sisters, it was very difficult for Abu Abdullah seeing the body of Fatima al-Zahra. The narration tells us, upon the departure of Fatima al-Zahra from this world, Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Husayn, when they came back home, Asma bint Umaysa gave them their food. They looked at Asma. They said, Asma, what have you known us to eat without our mother? We want to see our mother. Allahu Akbar. Hasanain went to the room where Sayyidah Fatima was, but they saw there was no movement coming from Fatima. Imam al-Hasan threw his body on the chest of Fatima. He called out, Amma, Amma, and there was painful quietness. Abu Abdullah then came to the body of Fatima al-Zahra. When Imam al-Hussein came to the body of Fatima, Imam al-Hussein threw his body on the chest of Fatima. Amirul Mu'mineen saw Hussein on the chest of Fatima. And he called Abu Dharra, oh Abu Dharra, go and remove Hussein from the body of Fatima. Later on, Abu Dharra asked Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, why did you ask me to remove Hussein from the chest of Fatima? Amir al-Mu'mineen looked at Abu Dharra. He said, oh Abu Dharra, when Hussein was on the chest of Fatima, the angel said to me, remove Hussein from the chest of Fatima. Question I leave you with, if angels could not bear to see Hussein on the chest of Fatima, how did the angels bear to see Shimr on the chest of Abu Abdullah? I said, Ya Allah, the angel Shimr did not sit only on the chest of Abu Abdullah. Shimr poked the lips of Hussein. He did not only poke the lips of Hussein. Allahu Akbar. Shimr pulled the beard of Abu Abdullah. Shimr did not only pull the beard of Aba Abdullah. Ya Fatima al-Zahra, may Allah grant you patience. Allahu Akbar. Shimr then sat on the chest of Imam al-Hussein. I said, Fatima. Shimr took out his dagger and he struck severally on the neck of Imam al-Hussein. Ala la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون. مأتم الحسين يا حسين.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Hussein. سینے میں لیے رنج و علم کرب و بلا کا بابا سے ہے ملنے کو چلی ابیہا آنکھوں سے لہو بہتا ہے پہلو ہے شکستہ یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ یا فاطمہ زہرا 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 سب مل کے یا فاطمہ یا فاطمہ امت نے بہت آپ کو تر پایا ہے بی بی ہر حق کے لیے آپ کو ترسایا ہے بی بی قاسب نے جو دربار میں بلوایا ہے بی بی قاسب نے جو دربار میں بلوایا ہے بی بی اس دکھ سے لرزنے لگا خود عرش خدا کا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ شبیر کی دنیا میں ولادت سے بھی پہلے کہتی تھی زہرا کہ بہت سہتی ہوں صدمے بچہ یہ میرا کھوک میں بے چین بہت ہے بچہ یہ میرا کھوک میں بے چین بہت ہے بچہ میرا کہتا ہے اماں میں ہوں پیاسا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا شبیر کی دنیا میں ولادت سے بھی پہلے کہتی تھی یہ زہرا کہ بہت سہتی ہوں صدمے بچہ یہ میرا کوکھ میں بے چین بہت ہے بچہ یہ میرا کوکھ میں بے چین بہت ہے بچہ میرا کہتا ہے کہ اماں میں ہوں پیاسا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا سینے میں ازل سے ہی میرے کرب و بلا ہے جاتے ہوئے زہرا نے یہ دنیا سے کہا ہے کیا شام میں ہونا ہے یہ سب مجھ کو پتا ہے کیا شام میں ہونا ہے یہ سب مجھ کو پتا ہے کھٹتے ہوئے صحرا میں ہے شبیر کا لاشا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ یا فاطمہ دنیا سے چلی کہتی ہوئی بنت پیمبر غم کرب و بلا کا ہے لیے یہ دل مضطر آتا ہے تصور میں میرے شام کا منظر آتا ہے تصور میں میرے شام کا منظر اللہ رکھے زینب و کلثوم کا پردہ یا فاطمہ یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ اب دل سے قمروار سے زہرا کو بلاؤ پامال یہ مرقد پہ بہت عشق بہاؤ اے منتقم کرب و بلا پردہ اٹھاؤ اے منتقم کرب و بلا پردہ اٹھاؤ محسن کی لحد پر گیا پہلو شکستہ یا فاطمہ زہرا
نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، اس کے گھر کو جلانے آئے ہیں جس کے گھر میں قرآن آیا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، اس کے گھر کو جلانے آئے ہیں جس کے گھر میں قرآن آیا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، بھرے دربار میں مسلمانے دونوں جھٹلا دیے ہیں لال اس کے، جانے کیسا سلوک کر ڈالا، پل میں ہو گئے سفید بال اس کے، گر کے بے ہوش ہو گئی زہرا، حال زینب کو جب سنایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، بولی فضائی سے رلانا جھڑکیاں دو نہ کچھ تو شرم کرو، دیکھ جس کو نبی کھڑے رہتے اس کو دربار میں کھڑا نہ کرو، روئی جب لاڈلی محمد کی سارا دربار مسکرایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، تیری ہمت کا نام ہے زینب اور شبیر ہے سب تیرا، تیرے آنسو سجاد کے آنسو اور سکینہ میں ہے اثر تیرا، تیرے بچوں نے بھی تیری طرح ظلم سہ کے یہ دی بچایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہائے باد رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے، ہاتھ اماں تیرے جنازے کو میں نہ اس وقت تک لگاؤں گا، نہ بلائیں گے جب تلک مجھ کو بولے شبیر میں نہ آؤں گا، گھر میں کوہرام ہو گیا برپا، شاہ کو بی بی فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے ہائے باتے رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے ہائے باتے رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے جو اجر سیدہ نے ہے پایا کیسے کوئی لگائے اندازہ جب مسلمانوں نے کیا حملہ یوں لگا فاطمہ کو دروازہ زخمی پہلو سے پاک بیوی نے مر کے بھی ہاتھ نہ اٹھایا ہے ہائے بادے رسول امت نے فاطمہ کو بہت ستایا ہے یا حسین 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 سر کو کٹا کے دین پہ سر کو کٹا کے دین پہ خود کربلا پہ کر دیا تو نے حسین یا 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 حسین خالق تیرا ممنون ہے خالق تیرا ممنون ہے مرتضی فاطمہ کے نور ہے یا حسین 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 لاشے پہ تیرے فاطمہ لاشے پہ تیرے فاطمہ پہلو پہ رکھ کے ہاتھ کو کرتی ہے بین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى أتسة المعصومين من ذريتك علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن عجل الله فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه ودهوره والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته بسم الله الرحمن
الرحيم اللهم كل وليك حجة من الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة ودليلا وحافظا وقاعدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمايه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلوات.
Mu'mineen, please be seated so the volunteers can serve tabarruk. The volunteers will only serve tabarruk to the mu'mineen who are seated. Mu'mineen, once again, please kindly be seated so tabarruk can be served. Help us protect the carpets.